Welcome back to the TruGolf Academy. You've joined me, Jon Watts, today at Branston Golf and Country Club. Today's video is all going to be around the green based on short game. I'm going to share with you 3 shots that you need to know how to play around the green. We're going to be hitting the low one, the mid one and the high one, and I'm going to talk you through how to do it. Stay tuned for more info. So this is the first location I've chosen for the 3 shots you need around the green. So what we're facing here is what I'd class as a chip and run or a bump and run. So I've got a lot of green to work with that you'll see. I am 1, 2, 3, 4 yards from the edge of the green, but the flag is about 20 yards away from me. So in my opinion, it is easier to get this ball on the ground sooner and get that ball to roll and release more like we're hitting a putt. So in this particular occasion, I'm going to be choosing a lower lofted golf club, and I think I'm going to be going more for an 8 iron on this one, because in my mind, I want it to fly about 20% of the journey and roll about 80%. And I won't go too much detail into that now, but I have done a video about club selection, and it's really relevant for what we're talking about today. So if that is of interest to you on this chip and run, make sure you check out this video. I'll put it in this top corner here. Check that one out, it's really relevant, as I said, to what we're talking about. So a chip and run, a bump and run, I'm talking about getting that ball on the green. I want this ball landing about 1 yard or 2 onto the green, so around 5 yards, and I want it to be rolling most of that journey, another sort of 15 odd yards down towards that flag. I'm not trying to fly the ball half the way. If I am trying to fly that ball further, I'm making a longer swing. I'm starting to use wrists. My weight is starting to transfer more, and there's more inconsistency. So what I'm trying to do with this is set up with the club shaft that little bit more upright like a putter. And again, I have talked about setup position for chipping before, and rather than go through it all, again, I'll put the link up in this corner here, but I'm trying to get that club up a bit more like a putter. Even if that lifts the heel of the golf club just slightly up in the air, there's less club to get snagged up with the grass, and the more vertical I get this golf club, the closer to a pendulum it's working. So there is less arc, there is less rotation, the club is pointing down my target line for longer. Personally, I would grip it like I'm gripping a putter, because I want it to feel that way, that it's a very much a control shot. I'm not trying to create distance or power. So I grip it down the bottom of the handle, and I'm gripping it like I'm gripping a putter. Now, some coaches would prefer to see the ball more middle. Personally, on a chip and run, I prefer to see the ball slightly nearer my back foot. So for me, my right heel, my trail foot, just to try and get my sternum, my center, more ahead of the golf ball, and I feel more pressure onto my lead leg. Now, what I'm trying to do is very much just maintain angles. So I've set this shaft angle, some people call it that letter Y between my arms and club shaft, and I'm just rotating my chest. So it's a very simple shot. I don't look at the flag, I look at where I'm going to land that ball, and that's what my practice swings are judging. Just getting that feel of the swing length I need. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the trigger. So set up, one more look at where I'm going to land it. It landed about 1 yard onto the green, and it's rolling down nicely to the flag, and it's finished, what, 1 foot away from the hole. So I take that every day of the week. That for me is a much simpler shot than me trying to fly the ball much further down there. Master that chip and run, and you're definitely going to lower your short scores. We're going to jump over to the pitch shot now. So the second shot I've chosen round the green that I feel you really need to know how to play is the pitch. You could think of this as a pitch and stop. So if you are a player where you get confused between chipping and pitching, think of the chip and run and the pitch and stop. So I'm flying this ball further for a couple of reasons. I'm further from the edge of the green, so I don't want to land the ball into this upslope, into this long wet grass. I need to fly the ball onto the green, and I'm got a little bit less green to work with there, and we're also hitting down to a downslope, so I definitely need more elevation to be able to stop the golf ball. So there's 3 reasons. The distance I'm trying to fly the ball, how quickly I'm trying to stop the golf ball, and take into account any slopes on the green. So this one with the downhill slope, I want to hit that ball that little bit higher as well. So there's almost 3 reasons of why I'm going to be hitting the pitch shot rather than the chip shot. So for when we're pitching, we're generally using one of our wedges. We're using something with a little bit more loft on. So I've chosen for this my most lofted wedge, which is 58 degree, just because of those 3 variables, how quickly I need to stop the golf ball. Now the setup is a little different to this one, and I will again put a link up here to go into more detail about pitching. And I'll also put a link up here about the when to chip and when to pitch, a little bit like I've just discussed. Really important for you to understand around the green what shot you're trying to play and when. So this one is a more elevated shot, so I've chosen a more lofted golf club, but I also want to set up a little bit more normal with this one. So I'm not trying to move the golf club more upright, I'm not trying to push my hands more forwards. I'm actually going to set up with the ball middle or slightly forwards of centre. So middle or just forwards of centre. My weight is going to be nearer even, so still slightly favouring my lead leg, my left foot, my one closest to the target, but nowhere near as much as when I was hitting the chip and run. I'm also going to have the handle of the golf club more level. I'm not going to push my hands forwards, because if I start pushing my hands forwards, and this is a problem I see with a lot of golfers, what happens to the loft on the golf club? We're de-lofting my 58 degree to 50 or maybe even lower still, and we start going with the sharp leading edge. So that means we could get some digging action here. So this is a lovely day for February, but the ground conditions, as you'd expect, are relatively soft. If we start going in with the front edge, we're going to dig. What we really need to get is that club skimming and bouncing, and that's why we call this the bounce of the golf club. So we're trying to use that as much as possible, and I do that by getting this ball more forwards than I'd play chipping, but my handle more level. On a shot of this distance, I'm still only around a similar distance to where I was from the chip and run, but I'm trying to fly that ball that lot further. I'm actually, for this length of shot, still not really trying to use a whole lot of wrist action. For me, the wrists start to cock as the swing length increases. So when my hands start to get to hip height and above, the wrists start to cock quite naturally. So on a shot this distance, I'm almost trying to play it very much dead arm and just control it with my chest, because again, less moving parts, less to go wrong. I'm going to focus again on my landing area. So a couple of yards onto the green, and I'm just trying to feel the swing length needed to achieve that. Handle more level. One more look at where I'm going to land it, and then rotate my chest. So you'll have seen a lot more height, a lot more elevation. That ball came to stop. I didn't even think that was possible. It came to stop just short of the flag, but I've only got around a 3-footer. And in this situation, I'd definitely take that. Always try and play the simplest shot round the green. Don't make it harder than it needs to be. If you can putt it, putt it. If you can't putt it, can you chip it? If you can't chip it, this is almost a third option for you, pitching, so more elevation. We're going to jump over to where we're actually having to play a lob shot now. So my third and final shot I want you to get used to round the green is a lob shot. So we're talking about something where we're trying to get maximum height, maximum stopping power, sometimes referred to as a parachute shot, something you see Phil Mickelson play quite a bit because he's very good at them. The other reason you see the guys perhaps in the States play it a little bit more than Europe is potentially thicker rough, longer rough, quicker greens. So when we put those two things together, we need more height, more stopping power. I would play this shot as a last resort. So this is a shot that I don't play a whole lot in regulation play, but you may play it more in a Stapleford situation or a match play situation where you've got to get up and down or hold it for a point or to halve with your opponent or whatever it might be. But in a medal round, I wouldn't be playing this shot a whole lot unless you're very good at it. The risk and reward, it's a lot higher risk for the reward here. So personally speaking, you know, I'm actually only out on the fifth hole. I would actually be looking at perhaps playing this as more of a pitch shot, accepting the fact that it's going to roll on and give me a 15-foot putt the other side. So this is only a shot we would play in certain situations, and it's only a shot, again, that you would take on if you practiced it, but I want to talk about it today. So I picked 3 shots, and I haven't picked a bunker shot. Not that they're not important, I've covered them quite a bit, but I just wanted to pick 3 shots from grass lies round the green, one lower trajectory, which is our chip and run, one medium trajectory, which is our pitch, and this our higher trajectory, our lob shot. And as the ball's getting higher and the swing's getting longer, the risk is much greater. It is harder to play that shot. So it's not a regular everyday occurrence. So with this one, what we need is maximum loft. So again, I've chosen my 58 degree. It's the highest I choose. So you need a sand wedge or a lob wedge. So we're going to use maximum loft. We're also going to increase the loft on the golf club. And it's really important that we increase the loft before we grip it. So we're going to turn the club face open before we put our hands onto the golf club. That is a key area. I get a lot of people telling me the face is open, and I'm looking at it going, okay, we'll open it. And they tell me, oh yeah, it is. And they've maybe moved it by a couple of degrees. I'm talking about on a shot like this, whereas I've got to fly this ball 90% of its journey, maybe more, and it's hitting to a downslope. You know, realistically, anywhere within 10 feet, I'm over the moon with this golf shot. I really am. But I need maximum height, so I'm really going to turn that club face open before I grip it. So what I'd actually do, I'd set up for straight first of all, with the ball more forwards in my stance and nearer my lead heel. I'm going to open the club face, and because the club face is pointing a little bit to the right, I'm just going to walk my body a little bit more round to the left of the target just to compensate. I don't do that in the sand because we're not hitting the golf ball, we're hitting the sand. In this occasion, we are actually moving underneath the ball, and opening that club face will have a little effect on the direction the ball goes, whereas in the bunker, it really won't there. So I'm opening the club face, I've turned my body a little round to the left, now I'm going to put my hands on. And if I'm going to do anything with my grip, I'm just going to weaken my trail hand. So for my right hand, I'm just going to feel like it's a little bit more on top of the grip. That helps me maintain the loft of the golf club through rather than shutting the club face down. So I've opened the club, then I grip it with the club face already open, and if I'm going to do anything, I get my trail hand just sitting a little bit more on top, almost like my palm is pointing down to the ground. Now again, I want practice swings looking at where I want to land it, and a nice long committed golf swing. Let me give this a go. That looks very good. Oh, now I would definitely take that. That's nearly gone in, rolled to about 2 foot past the flag, but it was a high risk golf shot. It's not something I'm going to play every day. From here in a medal round situation, I might well pitch it, play that second option, and accept that it's going to go a little bit past the flag. If you're good at these, if you've practiced these, then you may take them on a little bit more. But it is the ultimate in terms of trajectory and stopping power. So that ball flew really high up in the air, came down just like it was, you know, on a bed of feathers almost, really took the spin and the speed out of it. It was a long committed golf swing. We're going for maximum height, and that means we need an open club and a very long committed golf swing. Those 3 shots are really going to help you around the green. So if you can start to get used to them and play all 3 trajectories, the low, the mid and the high, you're really getting yourself in a stage where you're not faced by any situation around the green. You can play them all to a decent level. Your short game is definitely going to save you shots. If you did enjoy the content of the video, make sure you hit the thumbs up and do subscribe to the channel for all the other content. Thanks guys, we'll see you soon.